Hi. So first of all, Kerosene works because it's built like a rock song should be built. There's a very confident sense of structure and pacing. The band knows exactly when to tighten the groove, open up the chorus, layer the vocals, and then pull everything back again. That kind of structural control is something that a lot of young bands struggle with. But here, the arrangement feels intentional all the way through, and a big part of that comes from the vocal architecture. Daniela is doing something subtle but powerful here. She's stacking multiple vocal textures in ways that reinforce the rhythm of the song rather than just sitting on top of it. And of course, we've got the entire band pitching in on vocals here, which brings the Warning to a kind of unique place as a trio when you have all three members with this much vocal and musical ability. Now, here's something that I found especially interesting about the song. A lot of modern rock bands move toward a formula that's kind of built like this. You use a pop song structure first, and then you kind of layer heavy elements over it. So the hooks come from the production, the synth layers, or vocal effects. But Kerosene feels like the opposite approach to me. Instead of building a pop framework and adding rock on top of it, the Warning are doing something closer to classic hard rock. They've got riffs to anchor the song, and then the vocal hooks go on top of that. The chorus is catchy, but they're all attached to the basic guitar groove and bass groove, not floating over it. This means to me that the band's core identity hasn't really shifted and maybe never will. They will probably always and fundamentally be a riff-driven hard rock band. Now we have to talk about the bass, because on this track, Alejandra Villarreal absolutely shines. First of all, there's simply more bass in the mix than there normally is. But more importantly, the bass isn't just reinforcing the guitar, it's doing something much more interesting, playing a lot of counter melodies, and she's doing it using parts of the bass fretboard that many bass players just ignore altogether. So instead of staying locked into the lower register the entire time, she moves into mid-neck and upper neck territory where the bass can interact more melodically with the vocal lines. And this creates another layered effect. This gets them into an area that's kind of like what you would have with classic Zeppelin or even classic Rush, where the bass is almost acting like a second melodic instrument. Now, let's talk about the one area where I still think the Warning is searching for their perfect formula, and that's in the production. And to be clear, I'm not criticizing the band here because the song's really strong, but when I listen to it, I have the same reaction I've had to many Warning tracks. This song is probably going to be twice as powerful live than it is as a recording. The band's natural strength is the physical impact and their charisma. When they play live, their riffs just are staggeringly more impactful. They breathe more, the drums hit harder, the bass moves more air. And sometimes studio production compresses their energy just a bit too much. When I hear Kerosene, I hear a really good track, but I think it's going to become a brilliant track once they are playing it live. Now, here's my bigger takeaway. Kerosene suggests that the Warning are not chasing trends. They're refining what they already do well. They're improving their arrangements, they're expanding their instrumental interplay, and they're getting more confident in their song structure. That's exactly the stage a band should be in before they take their biggest creative leap. And interestingly enough, there's a moment at the end of this song that hints to me where those leaps might be and what the Warning might do next. If you're interested in hearing what I have to say on this topic, I have a members-only video you can get by hitting the join button below. Now, the overall assessment that I have for Kerosene is that it shows that the Warning is still climbing and still developing, but the songwriting is already extremely tight. The instrumental interplay is already extremely sophisticated. The band's identity as a riff-driven rock group is very much intact. So if this song is any indication at all, the next stage of the Warning's evolution could not only be their most interesting, but they may actually start pushing heavy music into areas it has never seen before. I think they may be on the verge of doing this. Let me know what you think in the comments below.
MusicGuru here, asking you to help us on our march to 10,000 subscribers.